Some women feel magnetic and unforgettable even when they're not trying to impress anyone. What is it about Sigma female energy that makes it so addictive once you've been around it? And why do we keep thinking about them long after the moment has passed? Welcome to time-tested advice, where ancient philosophy meets the modern world. I'm your host, Alfred. Let's get started. Ever wonder why some people just stick in your mind long after they've left the room? You know the type. They're not the loudest person at the party. They're not desperately seeking attention, yet somehow everyone remembers them. There's this magnetic pull that's hard to explain, almost like they've got some secret ingredient that makes them unforgettable. Well, chances are you've encountered a Sigma female, and trust me, once you understand what makes them so captivating, you'll realize why their energy is practically impossible to forget, the magnetic pull that defies explanation. There's something almost supernatural about the way Sigma females move through the world. They don't follow the typical social playbook that most people live by, while others are busy trying to fit into predetermined categories. The popular girl, the rebel, the people pleaser, Sigma females exist in their own category entirely. It's like they've figured out some life hack that the rest of us are still trying to crack. They're not competing in the same game everyone else is playing because they've created their own rules entirely, and honestly, that's exactly what makes them so irresistible to be around. Think about the most memorable people you've ever met. I bet they weren't the ones trying the hardest to be memorable. They were probably the ones who were just authentically themselves, completely comfortable in their own skin, doing their own thing without caring who was watching. The science behind the attraction. Before we dive into the specific reasons, let's talk about what's actually happening in our brains when we encounter someone like this. There's real psychology behind why we're drawn to certain personality types, and Sigma females hit several psychological triggers that make them absolutely fascinating. First up is the mystery factor. Our brains are wired to pay attention to things we can't immediately categorize or predict. It's a survival mechanism that served humans well for thousands of years. When someone doesn't fit into our usual mental boxes, our brain goes into overdrive trying to figure them out. Then there's the scarcity principle. When something is rare or hard to obtain, we automatically assign it higher value. Sigma females are rare by nature. They're not mass-produced by social conditioning like many personality types. They're genuine originals, and our brains recognize that uniqueness is valuable. Finally, there's what psychologists call secure attachment energy. Sigma females typically display the emotional stability and self-sufficiency that comes from being secure in themselves. This creates a calming, trustworthy energy that others find deeply appealing. Reason number 1, their mysterious and intriguing aura. Let's kick things off with probably the most obvious yet complex reason. Sigma females are walking mysteries, and humans are naturally drawn to puzzles we can't immediately solve, the art of calculated revelation. Here's what sets Sigma females apart from people who are just secretive or closed off. They're masters of strategic self-revelation. It's not that they're hiding who they are, they're just incredibly intentional about when and how they share pieces of themselves. Think of it like a really good book that reveals its secrets chapter by chapter. You get just enough information to keep you engaged, but never so much that you lose interest. A Sigma female might casually mention she speaks 3 languages, or that she spent a summer volunteering in Cambodia, or that she's been studying martial arts for 5 years. These little revelations come naturally in conversation, not as bragging points, but as genuine parts of who she is. This selective sharing creates what I like to call depth intrigue. Every conversation with them reveals new layers, new interests, new perspectives. You realize there's so much more beneath the surface than you initially thought, and that realization is absolutely addictive. The power of comfortable silence. Most people are terrified of silence in social situations. They fill every pause with words, worry that quiet moments mean something's wrong or awkward. Sigma females. They're completely comfortable with silence, and this comfort is magnetic. When someone isn't frantically trying to fill every moment with chatter, it creates space for deeper thoughts and more meaningful exchanges. Their silence isn't empty, it's full of presence and thoughtfulness. They'll sit quietly observing, thinking, processing, and when they do speak, their words carry more weight because they're not competing with constant noise. Discomfort with silence also means they're excellent listeners. While others are waiting for their turn to talk, Sigma females are actually absorbing what's being said, processing it, and responding thoughtfully. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, meeting someone who truly listens is like finding water in the desert. Unpredictable yet principled choices. Here's where Sigma females get really interesting. Their choices might surprise you, but they always make sense when you understand their values. They're not unpredictable in a chaotic way. They're unpredictable in a refreshingly authentic way. For example, a Sigma female might skip the trendy new restaurant everyone's talking about to try that tiny hole-in-the-wall place that serves incredible food. She's not making this choice to be different. She's making it because she values authentic experiences over popular ones. Or she might turn down an invitation to an exclusive party to spend the evening reading a book she's been excited about again, not to make a statement, but because she genuinely knows what brings her joy and isn't afraid to prioritize it. The enigma of effortless coolness. There's something undeniably cool about Sigma females, but it's not the try-hard kind of cool that feels forced or performative. It's effortless coolness that comes from being genuinely comfortable with who they are. They might wear vintage clothes, not because they're trendy, but because they found pieces they genuinely love. They might listen to music you've never heard of, not to seem sophisticated, but because they're genuinely curious about different sounds and artists. This effortless coolness is magnetic because it's real. There's no performance, no trying to impress anyone. They're just living their truth. And that authenticity has a natural coolness that can't be faked or manufactured. Reason number 2, their unshakable independence and self-reliance. Nothing, and I mean nothing, is more attractive than someone who doesn't need you, but chooses to have you in their life anyway. Sigma females have mastered this balance better than anyone else, and it's absolutely intoxicating financial and emotional sovereignty. Most Sigma females have worked incredibly hard to achieve complete independence, both financially and emotionally. They're not looking for someone to pay their bills, fix their problems, or complete their emotional world. They've already done the hard work of becoming whole, complete individuals on their own. This independence isn't born from fear or past hurt. It comes from a genuine desire to be self-sufficient and autonomous. They've learned to rely on themselves, not because they don't trust others, but because they understand that true strength comes from within. When you're with someone who has achieved this level of independence, every moment they choose to spend with you feels like a gift rather than a need. They're not with you because they have to be. They're with you because they want to be. And that distinction makes all the difference in the world. the comfort of solitude. While many people fear being alone, Sigma females have learned to not just tolerate solitude, but to genuinely enjoy it. They see alone time as an opportunity for self-reflection, creativity, and personal growth, rather than something to be avoided. This comfort with solitude means they never make desperate decisions based on loneliness or fear of being alone. They're not jumping into relationships or friendships just to avoid empty nights or quiet weekends. Every connection they make is intentional and meaningful, rather than born from desperation or social anxiety. If you're enjoying this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, say hello, and consider subscribing to our channel. And if you'd like to support our channel further, become a member by clicking the Join button below. When someone is genuinely okay being alone, they bring their best self to social situations. They're not needy, clingy, or looking for others to fill a void in their life. Instead, they're sharing their already full, rich life with others who enhance it. Decision-making mastery. Sigma females are decisive in a way that's both refreshing and attractive. They don't need to poll their friends, check social media for validation, or agonize over every choice. They've developed strong intuition and trust their own judgment. This decisiveness extends to everything from what to order at a restaurant to major life decisions like career changes or where to live. They gather the information they need, consider their options, and make choices based on their own values and goals rather than what others expect of them. Watching someone make decisions with confidence and clarity is incredibly appealing, especially in a world where many people are paralyzed by choice or constantly seeking external validation for their decisions, building their own empire. Many Sigma females are entrepreneurs, artists, or professionals who've built something meaningful from the ground up. They're not waiting for opportunities to come to them. They're creating their own opportunities and building their own version of success. This entrepreneurial spirit isn't just about business or career. It extends to how they approach their entire life. They're actively creating the life they want, rather than accepting what's given to them or following someone else's blueprint for happiness. Being around someone who's actively building and creating something meaningful is incredibly inspiring and motivating. Their energy is contagious, and it makes you want to step up your own game and start creating something worthwhile yourself. Reason number 3, their raw authenticity and genuine nature. In an age of Instagram filters, fake personas, and carefully curated online presence, Sigma females stand out like diamonds because they're unapologetically real. What you see is exactly what you get, and what you get is usually pretty amazing. No performance, just presence. Sigma females don't have different versions of themselves for different situations. They're not putting on a show at work, playing a role with friends, and being someone else entirely at home. They've integrated their personality in a way that feels consistent and genuine across all areas of life. This consistency is refreshing because it means you always know who you're dealing with. There are no nasty surprises, no discovering that the person you thought you knew was actually performing a character. Their authenticity creates a safe space where others can also drop their masks and be real. When someone is genuinely themselves in all situations, it creates a sense of reliability and trustworthiness that's rare in today's world. You know, they're not going to suddenly turn into someone else when the situation changes because they're always just themselves. Brutally honest communication. Sigma females communicate with a directness that's both refreshing and sometimes challenging. They're not into playing games, dropping subtle hints, or expecting you to read between the lines. If they have something to say, they'll say it clearly and directly. This doesn't mean they're harsh or inconsiderate. Quite the opposite. Their honesty comes from a place of respect. They respect others enough to tell them the truth rather than leading them on or leaving them guessing. Their communication style eliminates so much unnecessary drama and confusion. You never have to wonder where you stand with them because they'll tell you. You don't have to decode their messages or analyze their behavior for hidden meanings because they mean exactly what they say, comfortable with imperfection. One of the most attractive things about Sigma females is their comfort with their own imperfections and flaws. They're not trying to present a perfect image to the world because they understand that perfection is neither realistic nor interesting. They'll laugh at their mistakes, acknowledge when they don't know something, and admit when they've been wrong about something. This self-acceptance is incredibly attractive because it creates an environment where everyone can relax and be human. When someone isn't desperately trying to maintain a perfect facade, it gives everyone else permission to be imperfect too. This creates deeper, more authentic connections because people can show up as they really are rather than as they think they should be. Values-based living. Sigma females don't just talk about their values, they live them consistently, even when it's inconvenient or unpopular. They've done the inner work to figure out what really matters to them, and they use those values as a compass for all their decisions. This values-based living creates a sense of integrity that's magnetic. When someone's actions consistently align with their stated beliefs, it creates trust and respect. You know they're not going to compromise their principles for convenience or social approval. Their commitment to their values also means they attract people who share similar values, creating more meaningful and compatible relationships in all areas of their life. Reason number 4, their selective social approach and high standards. Sigma females are incredibly selective about who they let into their world, and honestly, that selectivity is part of what makes. Being chosen by them feels so special and addictive, the inner circle philosophy. Rather than trying to be friends with everyone or maintaining hundreds of superficial connections, Sigma females prefer a small circle of deep, meaningful relationships. They understand that quality relationships require time, energy, and emotional investment, so they're strategic about where they put their social energy. Being part of their inner circle isn't something that happens overnight or by accident. It's earned through consistency, authenticity, and mutual respect. When you do make it into their trusted circle, you know you're there for good reasons, which makes the relationship feel more valuable and meaningful. This selectivity also means that their friendships and relationships tend to be incredibly strong and supportive. Because they're not spreading their energy thin across dozens of casual acquaintances, they can really show up for the people who matter to them. Standards that elevate. Sigma females have high standards, but they're not unrealistic or judgmental. Their standards are based on character, authenticity, and mutual respect, rather than superficial criteria like status, appearance, or social media presence. They expect the people in their life to be genuine, reliable, and emotionally mature. They want relationships that are based on real connection rather than convenience or social obligation. These standards might seem high to some people, but they're actually quite reasonable if you're someone who values authentic relationships. Meeting their standards doesn't feel like pressure. It feels like inspiration to be your best self. Their expectations actually help elevate the people around them because they create an environment where everyone is motivated to show up authentically and meaningfully, quality control and action. Sigma females are masters at recognizing authentic people versus those who are performing or manipulating. They have highly developed intuition when it comes to reading people and situations, which helps them maintain the quality of their social circle. They're not easily impressed by surface-level charm or social posturing. They see through fake behavior quickly and aren't afraid to distance themselves from people who aren't genuine. This quality control ensures that their social energy is invested in worthwhile relationships. This ability to spot authenticity and cut through nonsense is incredibly attractive because it shows wisdom, discernment, and self-respect. It also means that when they choose to engage with you, you know it's because they see genuine value in who you are as a person, creating meaningful experiences. Because Sigma females are selective about their social interactions. The experiences they create and participate in tend to be more meaningful and memorable. They're not interested in small talk or superficial social events. They prefer activities and conversations that have depth and substance. They might suggest a deep conversation over coffee instead of mindless party chatter, or propose a hiking trip where you can really connect instead of a crowded bar where meaningful interaction is impossible. Their approach to socializing prioritizes connection and authenticity over entertainment or social status. Being around someone who consistently creates meaningful experiences is addictive, because these interactions feed your soul in a way that superficial socializing never can. You leave their company feeling energized and inspired rather than drained or empty. Reason number 5, their unwavering sense of purpose and direction. Perhaps the most compelling thing about Sigma females is that they know exactly where they're going in life, and they're actively working toward their goals with unwavering determination, crystal clear vision. Sigma females typically have a very clear vision of what they want their life to look like, and they're not afraid to pursue that vision even if it looks different from everyone else's idea of success. They've taken the time to really think about what matters to them and what kind of life would make them genuinely happy. This clarity of vision is magnetic because it's so rare. Most people are drifting through life without a clear sense of direction, following paths that others have laid out for them rather than creating their own. When you meet someone who knows exactly where they're going, it's incredibly inspiring and attractive. Their vision isn't usually about external markers of success like money or status. It's about creating a life that aligns with their values and brings them genuine fulfillment. This deeper understanding of success is refreshing and thought-provoking, relentless self-development. Sigma females are committed to continuous growth and self-improvement, not because they think they're broken or inadequate, but because they believe in their own potential and want to maximize it. They're always learning, growing, and evolving. They might be taking online courses, learning new languages, developing new skills, reading extensively, or pursuing creative projects. This commitment to growth means they're always becoming more interesting and capable over time. Being around someone who's constantly growing and evolving is incredibly stimulating and motivating. Their energy around personal development is contagious, and it makes you want to invest in your own growth and potential, creating their own path. One of the most attractive things about Sigma females is their willingness to forge their own path, rather than following conventional timelines or traditional definitions of success. They're not bound by other people's expectations or societal pressure to achieve certain milestones by certain ages. They might start their own business instead of climbing the corporate ladder, travel the world instead of buying a house, or pursue artistic endeavors instead of practical careers. Their choices are based on what brings them fulfillment, rather than what looks impressive to others. This courage to create their own path is incredibly attractive because it shows authenticity, creativity, and strength of character. It also demonstrates that they're not living their life to please others or meet external expectations. Mission-driven living. Many Sigma females have a sense of mission or purpose that goes beyond their personal goals. They might be passionate about environmental issues, social justice, creative expression, or helping others in some way. This sense of purpose gives their life deeper meaning and direction. Their mission-driven approach to life is magnetic because it shows they care about something bigger than themselves. They're not just focused on their own success or happiness. They want to make a positive impact in the world. Being around someone who's driven by purpose rather than just personal ambition is inspiring and uplifting. It makes you think about what you're passionate about and how you can contribute something meaningful to the world. Reason number 6, their grounded humility and quiet confidence. Sigma females carry themselves with a kind of confidence that never needs to be announced or performed. They know their strengths and accomplishments, but they don't feel the urge to broadcast them or seek applause. This grounded humility makes their presence feel safe and approachable, even when their life is impressive by any standard. They'll celebrate wins without turning them into a spectacle, and they'll own their expertise without making others feel small. This blend of inner certainty and outward humility is rare, and it creates a powerful contrast to the loud, performative confidence that dominates so much of modern culture. Being around someone who believes in themselves without needing constant reinforcement inspires you to cultivate the same calm self-trust in your own life. Reason number 7, their playful depth and unexpected warmth. While Sigma females are often seen as serious, focused, or intense, those who truly know them get to experience a side of them that is surprisingly playful, witty, and warm. They may not be the loudest in the room, but their sense of humor is sharp, thoughtful, and often delightfully unexpected. They enjoy inside jokes, meaningful banter, and shared moments of lightness that exist alongside their depth, rather than in place of it. This combination of emotional depth and genuine playfulness makes time with them feel rich and balanced. You can go from laughing about something silly to discussing something profound in the same conversation without it ever feeling forced. That ability to hold both lightness and depth in the same space is part of what makes their energy linger in your mind long after you've parted ways, the psychological impact of their balanced energy. One of the most addictive aspects of Sigma female energy is the psychological balance they bring to relationships and interactions. They've mastered the art of being fully present while maintaining their independence, which creates a unique dynamic that's incredibly appealing, the secure attachment advantage. Most Sigma females display what psychologists call secure attachment. They're comfortable with intimacy, but don't lose themselves in relationships. They can be close to others without becoming codependent or losing their individual identity. This secure attachment style creates relationships that feel safe and stable. There's no drama, no emotional roller coasters, no constant need for reassurance. Instead, there's a steady, reliable energy that allows relationships to flourish naturally. When you're with someone who has secure attachment, you feel free to be yourself without fear of judgment or abandonment. This psychological safety is incredibly rare and valuable, making the relationship feel like a safe harbor in an often chaotic world. Emotional regulation mastery. Sigma females typically have excellent emotional regulation skills. They don't let their emotions control their behavior, but they also don't suppress or ignore their feelings. They've learned to acknowledge their emotions, process them appropriately, and respond thoughtfully rather than reactively. This emotional maturity creates a calming presence that others find deeply attractive. When you're around someone who doesn't create unnecessary drama or emotional chaos, it's incredibly peaceful and refreshing. Their emotional stability also means they can be genuinely supportive during difficult times without getting overwhelmed or making the situation about themselves. They're the kind of people you can count on to remain calm and helpful during a crisis, the gift of perspective. Because Sigma females often see things from a unique angle and aren't influenced by groupthink. They offer fresh perspectives that can be incredibly valuable and enlightening. They help others see situations, problems, and opportunities from angles they might never have considered. This gift of perspective is addictive because it expands your worldview and helps you grow as a person. Conversations with them often leave you with new insights or ways of thinking about things that you carry with you long after the conversation ends. Their ability to offer fresh perspectives also makes them excellent problem solvers and advisors. When you're stuck on something, they often can see solutions or options that weren't obvious to you, the ripple effect of their influence. Being around Sigma females doesn't just feel good in the moment. It has lasting effects on how you see yourself and approach your own life. Their influence creates positive ripple effects that extend far beyond individual interactions. Inspiration for authenticity. Perhaps the most significant impact Sigma females have on others is inspiring them to be more authentic and true to themselves. When you see someone living genuinely and unapologetically, it gives you permission to do the same. They show by example that it's possible to be successful and happy while being completely yourself. This is incredibly liberating for people who have been trying to fit into boxes that don't suit them or living according to others' expectations. Their authenticity creates a ripple effect where others start questioning their own masks and performances, leading to more genuine interactions and relationships all around. Motivation for growth. The personal development and growth mindset that Sigma females embody is contagious. Being around someone who's constantly learning and evolving motivates others to invest in their own growth and potential. They don't preach or lecture about self-improvement. They simply live it, and their example speaks louder than words. Seeing someone actively working on becoming their best self makes you want to do the same. This motivational effect often leads to positive changes in the lives of people who spend time with Sigma females. Friends and partners often find themselves pursuing new interests, developing new skills, or making positive life changes inspired by the Sigma female's example. Elevation of standards. Sigma females naturally elevate the standards of the people around them, not through criticism or judgment, but through their own example of what's possible. When you see someone living with high standards and achieving great results, it makes you realize you can do the same. Their high standards become contagious, inspiring others to expect more from themselves and their relationships. This elevation of standards leads to better outcomes and more fulfilling experiences for everyone involved. The long-term addictive qualities. What makes Sigma female energy truly addictive isn't just the initial attraction. It's the sustained value they bring to relationships over time. Unlike relationships that burn hot and fast, connections with Sigma females tend to deepen and become more rewarding over time. Continued discovery. because Sigma females are complex, authentic individuals who are constantly growing. There's always something new to discover about them. Even after years of knowing them, they can still surprise you with new interests, insights, or perspectives. This continued discovery keeps relationships fresh and exciting. You never feel like you know everything about them, or that the relationship has become predictable or stagnant. There's always another layer to uncover, another dimension to explore stable growth together. Relationships with Sigma females tend to be characterized by stable growth rather than dramatic ups and downs. Both people continue to evolve and develop, but the relationship itself remains solid and supportive throughout the changes. This stability allows for deep intimacy and trust to develop over time. You know that even as both of you grow and change, the core of the relationship will remain strong and supportive, mutual inspiration. The best relationships with Sigma females become mutually inspiring. You bring out the best in each other and support each other's growth and dreams. This creates a positive feedback loop where the relationship itself becomes a source of motivation and inspiration. This mutual inspiration prevents relationships from becoming codependent or stagnant. Instead, both people are constantly encouraging and challenging each other to be their best selves. The modern appeal in a digital age. In our current digital age, Sigma female energy feels particularly appealing and necessary. While social media encourages performance and validation-seeking behavior, Sigma females offer something completely different: authentic presence and genuine connection, antidote to social media culture. Sigma females provide a refreshing alternative to the performative culture of social media. They're not constantly posting for validation or trying to present a perfect image online. Their sense of self comes from within rather than from external likes and comments. Being around someone who isn't addicted to social media validation is incredibly refreshing. They're present in conversations, not constantly checking their phone or thinking about their next post. Their attention is genuine and focused, real connection in a virtual world. In a world where many relationships exist primarily through screens and digital communication, Sigma females prioritize real, in-person connection. They understand the value of face-to-face interaction and genuine presence. This commitment to real connection creates deeper, more meaningful relationships that feel more substantial and satisfying than primarily digital relationships. They remind us of what we're missing when we rely too heavily on virtual communication, substance over surface. While social media often rewards surface-level content and superficial interactions, Sigma females consistently offer substance and depth. Their conversations, interests, and relationships all have more substance than the typical social media interactions most people are used to. This depth is incredibly appealing to people who are tired of superficial interactions and meaningless small talk. They offer the kind of meaningful connection that feeds the soul rather than just passing time. Understanding the magnetic pull, the attraction to Sigma female energy isn't just about romantic or physical attraction. It's about recognizing and being drawn to qualities that represent the best of human potential. They embody characteristics that many people aspire to develop in themselves. The mirror effect. Often the qualities we find most attractive in others are qualities we either possess ourselves or deeply wish to develop. Sigma females often serve as mirrors, reflecting back our own potential for authenticity, independence, and purposeful living. This mirror effect can be both inspiring and slightly uncomfortable, as it shows us what we're capable of becoming if we're willing to do the inner work and make the necessary changes in our lives, recognition of rare value. In a world where many people are following similar paths and presenting similar personas, Sigma females stand out as genuinely unique individuals. Our attraction to them is partially recognition of their rare value and authenticity. This recognition of rarity makes us want to preserve and maintain our connection with them because we understand that what they offer isn't easily found elsewhere: aspiration and inspiration. The qualities that Sigma females embody: authenticity, independence, purpose, selectivity, and mystery are qualities that many people aspire to develop in themselves. Being around them provides both inspiration and a roadmap for personal development. They show us what's possible when someone commits to being genuinely themselves and living according to their own values rather than external expectations. Conclusion: the enduring appeal of authentic living. The addiction to Sigma female energy isn't really an addiction at all. It's a healthy recognition of what authentic, purposeful living looks like in a world full of performance, pretense, and people-pleasing. Sigma females represent something rare and valuable: genuine authenticity combined with strength and independence. Their mysterious nature keeps us intrigued because mystery requires depth, and depth is increasingly rare in our superficial, fast-paced world. Their independence challenges us to examine our own self-reliance and authenticity. Their genuine nature creates safe spaces for real connection in a world full of shallow interactions. Their selectivity makes us feel special when we're chosen, because we know it means something, and their sense of purpose inspires us to examine our own lives and consider what we're really working toward and why. But perhaps most importantly, Sigma females show us what's possible when someone commits to living life on their own terms. They're not trying to be addictive or magnetic. They're simply being themselves fully and unapologetically. And that authenticity is naturally attractive to people who recognize its value. The magnetic pull we feel towards Sigma female energy is actually our own inner wisdom recognizing qualities worth aspiring to and relationships worth investing in. They remind us that it's possible to be independent while still maintaining meaningful connections, to be selective while still being open-hearted, and to be authentic while still being successful. If you find yourself drawn to Sigma female energy, take it as a sign that you value authenticity, depth, and genuine connection. These are qualities worth developing in yourself as well. The goal isn't to capture or possess their energy, but to be inspired by it and perhaps develop some of these qualities within yourself. After all, the most attractive quality of Sigma females might just be their ability to inspire others to become more authentic, independent, and purposeful in their own lives. They show us that it's possible to live genuinely in an inauthentic world, to maintain individuality while still creating meaningful connections, and to be successful while staying true to your own values and vision. In the end, the magnetism of Sigma females lies not in what they do to attract others, but in who they are when nobody's watching. And in a world that often rewards performance over authenticity, that genuine self-possession isn't just attractive, it's revolutionary. It's a reminder of what human potential looks like when someone commits to being genuinely, unapologetically themselves. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I'm your host, Alfred, and I read every comment.